Now, Judge Napolitano is with me, and I want to bring him in to talk about Chicago, because President Trump has said to Chicago, the mayor of Chicago, hey, look, you've got carnage in your streets. This was another tweet just out.
Yes.
You've got carnage in your streets. I'm going to send in the feds. There's the tweet. If Chicago doesn't fix the horrible carnage going on, 228 shootings, 42 killings, up 24%, I will send in the feds. That's the expression that got to me. Can he do that?
Well, the short answer is yes. The longer answer is the feds are already there. I mean, the Justice Department is there. The FBI is there. The Drug Enforcement Administration is there. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, they keep changing their name, is there. Can he beef up them? Absolutely. Can he get more money into their budgets? Yes. Can he order more prosecutions for criminal behavior that is also a federal crime as well as a state crime to bring more stability to law enforcement, to sort of Bigfoot the Chicago police by taking cases away from them, which they'll be happy to get rid of? The answer is yes, he can do all that. Can he send troops into the streets? No, he can't do that unless he could show there was a rebellion or an invasion going on.
That's what the left is saying.
Yes.
They saw this tweet and they said, oh, martial law, here it comes.
No.
That's nonsense.
No. The reason I laughed when I saw the tweet was I read it too quickly, and I didn't see the S after feds. I thought he said he's going to send in the feds. But what are they going to do? Print more cash?
Send in Janet Yellen.
Wait a second.
So he's quite correct to do this. There's also another specter here that most folks don't know about. There is a 60,000-person federal police department called the Department of Homeland Security. Because Chicago has an international port, it qualifies for DHS police. He could send them in as well. That would be very awkward because they often don't work in tandem with the locals. They have their own area, a little pocket of federal land that they patrol in the middle of a city. There are such pockets here.
Let's get right at it. Chicago is a sanctuary city.
Yes.
President Trump says he's signing this executive order. He's going to identify criminal aliens. And he's told Chicago, I'm going to send in the feds. Does that mean he could send in some kind of federal authority to go after criminal aliens in a sanctuary city, arrest them, take them, put them in prison, get them out of here?
Absolutely.
Can he do that?
Absolutely.
All of that he can do?
Yes. He does
There's nothing Chicago can do about it.
Correct. The sanctuary city component comes in where the federal government lacks the resources to enforce all of its laws as aggressively as it wants and relies upon a local police department partner. Local police, use our example here, New York City police enforcing federal law. Can the feds make them do that? No. Can the feds ask them to do that, and can they say yes if they want to? Yes. If the Chicago police say no, then they have to send more federal personnel to Chicago to enforce federal law. The Chicago police cannot keep that federal personnel out. What they can't do is conscript the Chicago police to make them work for the feds.
My head is totally spinning. Here's the answer. Here's the question that I want, and I'm going to ask for another answer.
You want another one-word answer?
No.
All right. You just gave me one.
Chicago is a sanctuary city. President Trump says he's going to send in the feds because of the carnage there.
Yes.
He can send in some kind of federal authority or promote the federal authority that's already there to go after the criminal aliens, arrest them, deport them, and it doesn't give a hoot what Chicago's mayor says about it.
In a short answer, yes.
There you go. See, that's what everybody wants to hear.
Yes.
You know, the technicalities of whether it's the local police force and can they arrest this or that, they don't care.
No,
Donald
but these
care.
yes, he does care. These are of profound importance because many of his predecessors have tried to force local police to work for the feds at the expense of the locals, and the federal courts have stopped them.
Bro, at which point are you authorized to do this? Defense of yourself, defense of others, defense of government. Running and willy nilly, get security. TGSW is both the box. Both of them.
Hey, we got urgent. Hey, you got another urgent coming. Hey, let's go. We're going to take care of you, all right, though? Three urgent, one priority, one routine. Hey, give me a litter bag, Jay. Don't change them. Hold security. Oh, shit. Free it. Hold security.
He's having a hard time breathing. Like I said, we might have to do a needle D on the left, on the right side. So you already did your log roll, so you just had to do upper extremities, lower extremities.
One gun open. Check his right arm. 7 urgent. Gunshot wounds to the chest. Torso trauma. All blood trauma to the chest. All blood trauma to the chest.
The situation in Chicago, man. I'm from Chicago, born and raised there. I ran those streets in Chicago and changed my life. But I want to kind of make people aware of some things that you don't know, because you never really been out there, then you wouldn't know it. And it's going to be hard to believe, but myself, for a fact, and several others that I ran with know this to be the truth. Growing up in Chicago in the early 90s, this same situation was happening. I've been in Chicago where a person came into my house and knocked on the door to come and get me early in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, and said, come with me, man, it's a crate of guns in the alley. And I got up and ran out there, and sure enough, there was a crate of guns. And during that time when we in it, you're not thinking about where did the guns just come from. You know, you never think about that type of stuff, like where did the guns come from and why are they here. But now that I'm older, I can kind of tell you that it's a diabolical plot. Nothing is stopped. The guns are still there. The guns are still being placed in these different strategic communities. It's a plan. It's not out in Bridgeview. It's not out in, Westmount. They're putting it in the hundreds for sure. Yeah, they're putting it on 55th. They're putting it in Inglewood. 6:30 in the morning, while older people that's at work, you sleep. You're not outside. So, you got the streetwalkers and the people that's out, they hustling and they out all types of day. And yeah, they're the ones that's going to run across them. And who would go and tell the police? I never went to go tell the police when we found some guns. That don't even make sense. Why would you go tell the police? So people are wondering why so much violence. Think about it. You think about this. Okay, the police are locking people up constantly in Chicago every single day. They're taking guns off the street every single day, every day. So how is it that all of these guns just keep appearing? Where are all the guns coming from? Nobody's going to the gun store buying these guns. So where are all these guns? Now, this is another part that you don't know. I was so used to having exotic guns that I thought that was the norm. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying far as, I don't know if are you familiar with guns, but a fully automatic handgun is almost impossible to get. You know what I'm saying? A fully automatic assault rifle, that's not common. It may sound common, but that's not common. A Uzi that's fully automatic, that's not common. So I was so used to having everything in the area that I knew of was fully. It shot fully automatic, fully. So me being 17 and 18 and in my 20s, I was so naive that I believed that's how awful guns was. I seen so many different exotic guns on the street running around in different areas with the guys just running around. I thought that was the norm. So now I'm an older gentleman. I'm out here, I switched my life around. I'm living right, So now I cleared my name up and got my record sealed. And I'm going to the gun shop now. I'm going to the shooting range, shooting like I'm supposed to. And I go into gun stores and I'm asking for certain guns and they looking at me like I'm crazy. Like I made that gun up. These are guns that I've seen several times in different areas that the gun stores saying, huh? How would that be on the street? That's something that you would have to get specialized, customized. You see what I'm saying? But these guns are on the streets of Chicago. And my point to you is, yeah, we can't try to make an excuse for the kids out there shooting. And it ain't all kids, but we can't make an excuse. But I want you to look at the bigger picture. Where are they getting the guns from? It's not one or two areas. It's not one or two areas. It's everywhere. In the urban community is what I'm telling you. They're not dropping them out there in Hillcrest. They're not going to be out there. You check in them hundreds. You check on the low end. You check in the heart of the city, in the inner city. That's where they're dropping all the guns at. That's where all the killings is happening at. That's why a lot of innocent people are getting shot, stuff like that. Because of these guns. They got guns that they can't control. They shooting these guns, letting off, man, 100 shots, man, in 30 seconds. These guns are not being bought. They don't have no gun license to buy these guns. So where are they getting the guns from? That's the question. I'm telling you right now. They've been dropping the guns off in crates for years. They've been doing it. I seen it twice in my lifetime. I seen it in 1990, and then I seen it again in 1999. I seen it with my own eyes. You can believe it or not, but that's the honest to God truth. I went out, I seen the guns in the crate myself, and it went out through the whole area. Everybody got this one, grab that one. Let me get that one. I grabbed it. Everybody got it. And that's what they keep doing. That's how the guns keep getting on the streets. That's why the wars don't stop. You see what I'm saying? That's the part that people got to focus on. The gun control, how you gonna control something if you study putting it down there? That's propaganda when they saying this gun control, or we lobbying for gun control. You're not trying to control nothing when you study putting guns out there. They giving it to them. Now they want to give them the guns so they can catch them with the guns. Either they gonna kill somebody with the gun, then they get to lock them up, or they catch them with the gun and they get to lock them up. Either way, it's lose, 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 lose. You see what I'm saying? It's a business for them. It's a business. You know what I'm saying? It's like me wanting to sell a drug, but I got to get you hooked first. You know, it's a business for them. So the more people that they can catch with guns, or the more people that commit crimes with guns, they get to lock them up. To them, it's just a number. They don't care. They don't care who it is. But it's more of the African community that is, you know, we're the victims. And I hate that everything boils down to race and all of that. I'm not a racist, but the truth is the truth. And I'm just telling it how it is, you know what I'm saying? I go to Chicago all the time, but if I go out to Westmount, Illinois, where one of my good white friends live, and I go with him, it's a different community. It's a different community. Ain't nobody running around with no guns. Ain't nobody doing nothing. I go out there, I feel safe. As soon as I go where I grew up at, I'm not getting out the car without no gun, because I don't trust nobody, because everybody around here got a gun. Everybody got a gun. You hear that part? That's the part that matters. Everybody got a gun, from the 14-year-old on up. Everybody got one. They ain't even doing nothing with it. They just got one. Well, how do everybody got all these guns? Where they come from? Right back to that again. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The guns are being deliberately placed, strategically placed in certain communities to target certain individuals. Please pay attention. Please research it. Check it out. Ask some of the OGs who've been around, and they'll tell you the same thing, that I'm not lying. I'm just willing to expose it. I'm trying to tell you the truth. It's the truth. They deliberately placing guns in Chicago in different areas. That's why so much shooting. The kids, as a little boy, when you grow up, you want to be a cowboy. You want a gun in your hand. As soon as you get it, you're going to emulate what you're seeing that people in front of you doing. So as soon as you get your hand on that gun, you got an extension clip, an extended clip. Where all these extended clips come from? Where? Where do you think they come from? Just think about it logically. Where do all these automatic weapons come from that's doing all this shooting? Where do they come from? But nobody can go. Chicago don't got no gun stores. Think about that. There is no gun store in the city limits of Chicago. So where are the guns coming from? How do you get bullets? How do you get bullets? Because they dropping off bullets with the guns. That's how. Where they get bullets from? Okay, if I got guns, say I got the guns, where am I going to get bullets if it's not a gun store in the city of Chicago? That's what I'm trying to show y'all, man. Think about it logically. They don't want us to stop and think, because then if we stop and think, then we're going to be on point. You understand what I'm saying? So, hopefully, this will wake somebody up. Maybe you'll snatch your son up, or your nephew, or your cousin, and you'll talk to him, and you'll let him know it's a bigger picture than running around with these gangs, and that stuff ain't gonna last nowhere, you know. I was there. I came up out of it. Everybody won't be so lucky, but today I just want to drop one to grow on y'all, man, that there is a plot, and there is a plan, and it's strategically against our communities. So this is signing off from Las Vegas. The truth. This is not no maybe I think he know what he talking about. I'm telling you the truth. They dropping guns off, man.
Now let me ask you this. You mentioned the violence in Chicago.
Yeah.
What's it gonna take to change the violence? Because it does seem out of control.
And this shit rigged already, bro. This shit was broke down already, man. Like, it ain't even, it is the people, but you got motherfucking, the police killing motherfuckers too. You feel me? Then you got the people, the government really behind a lot of this shit, you feel me? They already set all the neighborhoods up to be like this. Chicago is segregated. You got the blacks only around blacks. Mexicans only around Mexicans, you feel me? Whites only around whites. So like, come on, man. You feel me? They move motherfuckers to the projects. Made motherfuckers fucked up in the projects. Then guess what they did? Knocked them bitches down and sent their motherfucker from the projects across the whole city. That's when they fucked the city up right there anyway, you feel me? So it's like niggas come from the building, don't really know the streets, you feel me? And then a lot of motherfuckers, it started teeing up, you feel me? And then shit, like, it got a little worse, like 2011, 2010 and shit, 2012. After this Chief Keef shit and all this shit, that's all the motherfuckers started knowing, 30s and all this shit. Killing. But, man, I don't know what the fuck it's gonna take to stop the violence though, cause it's like shit, they really behind it. Cause like if they wanted to, it'd be a lot. Like they ain't giving no motherfucker no jobs or nothing. You feel me? All this shit they ain't doing shit for us. You feel me? So motherfucker gonna get out there and get it how they, you feel me? How they know. You feel me? And they be behind a lot of that shit too. You feel me? So all this shit been rigged from the jump, man. The government and all that shit was already behind a lot of this shit already, man. Like they ain't trying to help no motherfucker. All this motherfucker killing, they ain't doing shit. You feel me? They ain't doing shit with like shit. Another nigga gone. You feel me? That's what the fuck they want anyway. The black motherfucker. You feel me? They trying to get rid of our race. You feel me? So they don't give no fuck about this shit. Really, they ain't investigating and really trying to catch no motherfucker that's killing. You feel me? These young niggas just dumb and telling on themselves. You feel me? So niggas going to jail. But really shit, this shit really easy to, you feel me, get away with. You feel me? They ain't gonna get no fuck. They ain't really trying to figure out who killed the motherfucker. They don't get no fuck about us. You feel me? So. But I don't know, man. Damn, I don't know. They help do better in the communities, you feel me? Put jobs, school, they tore down like motherfucking 30-something schools or some shit. Like, you feel me? All that type of shit, like right there, that shit'll just start fucking motherfuckers up right there. All that shit is already built though, already. They know what they doing already, you feel me? Since the motherfucker was a kid, they already knew. Just like you motherfuckers do to a motherfucking dog, you gonna train that motherfucker to become whatever, you feel me? Whatever you want it. That's how the system just did over motherfuckers' head, and motherfuckers just blind and ain't see it. And that's all they just did. Finessed us to kill each other, shit. But shit, I don't know what it's gonna take though. These people, shit, they just gotta, cause they ain't gonna do shit to try to help a motherfucker, so I don't know.
Now let me ask you this, okay? A couple questions come to my mind. Chicago's a huge city, and I don't know how, if you've traveled to other cities like a New York City or an Atlanta or Los Angeles, which are also big major cities like a Chicago.
Yeah.
Obviously different amount of people and different people there too, but when in terms of violence, Chicago is pretty crazy. But why don't you see this same sort of, I know you have some thoughts and some comments about the system and the government and stuff like that, but why don't you see this same type of scenario happening in, like, say, a New York City or in Atlanta or in Los Angeles?
I mean, don't get it wrong. Chicago, we just so known right now, you feel me? So, but nigga, come on, man. New Orleans been doing, you feel me? They was #1 murder capital. Come on, man, you feel me? LA, they been doing that shit. The Crips and Bloods, come on, man. And just everybody got their time, you feel me? And Chicago been doing this shit. There's probably way more murders than in the 90s than it is now, you feel me? You just got social media now to show the world what's really going on. But this shit been going on. This shit ain't new. This shit ain't new at all. This shit ain't new. Oh God.
It's near my rear end, I guess you can say, and that's when I just felt something cold and hard just, I guess, penetrate me.
From "they stuck a gun up my rectum" to "officers stepped on my groin as if taking out a cigarette." This may sound like recollections of terror suspects who experienced what is usually called enhanced interrogation techniques. But those are just a few accounts from Chicago residents who walked out of this building. The Homan Detention Center in Chicago looks like just another red brick building in this neighborhood, and the police claims that there's nothing special about it whatsoever. Those who made it out of these walls, they disagree. They claim that their experiences were horrific, kept for hours in intentionally overheated rooms, beaten up, shackled, with no access to water or lawyers, and their arrests had been kept off the books. This prompted comparisons among some to CIA black sites scattered all across the planet. Those who went through this are reluctant to talk now, either going through lawsuits against the authorities or simply afraid of further police action against them.
A violation of human rights and whatnot.
We interviewed the Intercept journalist Juan Thompson, who uncovered the story of Corey Wright, busted 10 years ago in a drug raid to be later released with no charges, but still being forced to go through the Homan Square nightmare.
He was kept in a hot room, zip-tied to a bench for hours, with no access to a telephone, no access to bathroom, no access to water, no access to counsel. They tortured him by making him sit in a hot room for hours on a Chicago summer day. They were trying to get information out of him about other crimes to which, at least he claims, that he didn't know about. And the touchless torture that Corey Wright experienced in Chicago is also similar to some of the things that we've heard about Americans doing to people in Europe and in the Middle East.
Lawyers representing those who suffered abuse at Homan Square bang the drum of constitutional violations. That's because not only those who are taken to the center are usually innocent or minor offenders, but because they are not even booked while kept there.
You're taken off the grid. Nobody knows where you are, and nobody can find you. And with that kind of anonymity, you have free license. Once you're taken in there, nobody can get to you. Your lawyer can't get to you. Your family can't get to you. You're not on any database. If you call and say, is my son there? Is my son arrested? We don't know. Well, no, we don't have him in the booking.
But why would the police force run something which can draw parallels with torture sites? Jason Epstein believes that's because they feel if they are the law, they can also be above it.
They don't want the inconvenience of providing people their civil rights, because that interferes to them with their investigation. And to them, their investigation is more important. You're committing crimes and trying to combat crime. It's like, hey guys, you've lost sight of your goal here. You're trying to stop somebody from carrying a gun or having drugs, but you can't abuse the people in trying to do that.
The Chicago police have staunchly denied any allegations the Homan Square could be a torture site. In a public statement, it said CPD abides by all laws, rules and guidelines pertaining to any interviews of suspects or witnesses at Homan Square or any other CPD facility. Well, if that was so, why would Corey Wright say something like this to Juan Thompson?
His experience with the Chicago police and the horrible thing that they put him through made him not want to be black, because he just thought the police were harassing black people. You are questioning your ethnic identity and your very being and your person because of this horrible experience.
After the Homan Square story became public, it spurned several protests by the facility's walls and repeated calls to have the facility shut down.
This place is a torture chamber, still is.
That is something those who have had the experience of being there hope will happen after they have filed a class action against the Chicago police. Alexei Roshevsky, RT, reporting from Chicago.
Alexei joins me now to discuss his findings further. Alexei, you spoke with the lawyers overseeing the class action lawsuit brought by the victims. How strong is this case?
Well, they believe their case is very strong, but because right now it unites 20 people, at least 20 people who have gone through the Homan Detention Center. The things they've said, their testimonies are very similar to each other, kept for hours in overheated rooms, zip-tied to a bench. Some of them were not allowed to go to a toilet. Some of them were actually fed once or twice in 3 or 4 days. There are, of course, horrible accounts, as what Angel Perez said, of being, as he claims, sexually abused as well. But the problem here, and that's something that lawyers do acknowledge, that most of the people do not have any visual or sound evidence of what was happening to them within the walls of the Homan Square facility. Only Angel Perez has managed to find
to obtain those videos. And even those videos, they were, as lawyers claim, somewhat edited by the police, by those who provided this footage. So they still believe the case is strong, and considering that how many testimonies are there, they're hoping that the police will eventually shut down this facility.
They are some horrible reports, as you said it right there. But Archie has spoken to the police department, and they adamantly say that Homan is not a hidden site. You were there. How secret is it really?
Well, looking at the Homan Square facility from the outside, it doesn't look, as I've said in my story, it doesn't look anything out of the ordinary. Only the parking lots around it would suggest that this facility belongs to the police. But on paper, this is supposed to be the facility where people would pick up their stolen items, or where confiscated money, drugs, and weapons would be kept. And also, we heard from the police that this facility needs protection because some undercover agents are working out of it. But then again, if we look at the video provided by Angel Perez, obtained by Angel Perez, we see that a person is being brought into a room called prisoner entrance, and the lawyers, they're insisting that this facility is not a detention facility and nobody should be kept inside there. So again, with the police staunchly denying any kind of accusations that this may be a black site of some sort, it's really hard to believe that, considering the evidence which is already available and which may be available once the lawyers bring their case to trial.
RT correspondent Alexei Oreshevsky from our New York studio, thank you so much for your reporting.
One Southside alderman was so concerned about rail yard gun heists, she threatened to hold a public hearing. Now, Alderman Pat Dowell tells two investigators federal authorities strongly encouraged her not to for fear it would expose security deficiencies. Now, it's happened again. A half dozen semi-automatic rifles like this and 27 handguns like this. The lock was cut, the seal was broken, per the incident report, lifted from a rail car near 77th and Avalon.
There's no city like Chicago where every major railroad comes together.
Professor Joe Schwederman.
You have dozens of interfaces. That means small yards spread around town, and that creates these vulnerabilities.
Vulnerabilities exposed. In May 2014, 13 Smith & Wesson sports rifles were stolen from a freight car near 63rd and State. In April 2015, more than 100 firearms stolen. Per the federal complaint, local offenders with aliases like Chuck, Adolf, and Rat netted 22s, 44s, and shotguns. Within weeks of the heist, a number of the firearms popped up in, quote, unrelated incidents throughout the city of Chicago.
The perpetrator has a real incentive to get rid of the merchandise as quickly as possible, since it's traceable. And that means these guns end up, cash is paid, they're in the neighborhoods.
Of particular concern, the potent AR-15s. And one more issue, the most recent incident happened on September 18th. It was reported to Chicago police on the 29th, a full 11 days later, for unknown reasons. All in all, says the professor,
it's a recipe for trouble.
The rail company, Norfolk Southern, confirms they're investigating a theft from a rail container, and the, quote, security of our trains and infrastructure is a top priority. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the ATF, says investigations are ongoing, but they've had success in recovering some of the guns and arresting some of those responsible. Brad Edwards, two investigators.
Thank you, Brad.